Hello everyone, you are watching the Beats Save the World YouTube channel. Today we're looking at the song Leave the Door Open by Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic, and Anderson .Paak, and we're going to look at how the key changes in this song are so seamless and they work so well. The reason I want to do this is because when you're listening to a song like Leave the Door Open, you may think to yourself that you could never write a song like this, that like if you're writing a song, you're stuck to 4-chord songs, that you could never make a song with so many key changes and such interesting chords. But I want to tell you that you can. If you just take a bit of time to understand what's going on with this songwriting, you can write songs in this style. You can do interesting things. You can go outside the realms of just 4-chord songs. So I want to explain how this song changes keys and why they change keys and why it works so well and fits so seamlessly into the song, all right? So in order to do that, first, I want to explain the concept of relative major and relative minor, because if you understand that, it's way easier to understand why the key changes work so well, all right? So, in my opinion, this song, Leave the Door Open, starts out in the key of A minor. I say that because that's where it feels like it resolves, right? So we have this opening chord progression that I talked about last time, where it goes like da 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 da, that thing, right? And it feels resolved when it gets here. So it's in the key of A minor. Well, here's what you have to understand, okay? So this song is in the key of A minor, which means that all the notes that sound, quote, correct are part of the A minor scale, all right? That sounds like this. All right, so you follow me so far? So what I'm saying is that this song is in A minor, so the notes that sound correct are part of the A minor scale, okay? Now, here's where it gets interesting. If we take this A minor scale and we start on the third note, okay? So the A minor scale is like this. If we start on the third note, this is the third note, C. If we just start on the third note of the A minor scale and we play 8 notes, it'll sound like this. Right? So the point is, if we just start on the third note of a minor scale, we'll get a major scale, okay? So what this means is that there exists a major scale for any minor scale that has the same notes, right? So what are the notes of the A minor scale? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Those are also the notes that are within the C major scale, okay? Like, check it. The notes in the C major scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. They're starting from a different note. It's starting from C instead of A, but it's the same notes, okay? So the point is, if we're in the key of A minor, starting Leave the Door Open, we can also think we're in the key of C major. That's all I want to say. So Leave the Door Open, it starts out in A minor, but you can really think about it as starting in C major, especially because there's this section right before Bruno Mars comes in where Anderson .Paak goes, "We should be dancing, romancing in the east." You know that part. "East wing in the left wing of this mansion," right? Where it's resolving to C major. And it sounds so resolved because when you're in the key of A minor, you're really also in the key of C major. Now, here's where this makes sense. So let's go into the first key change of this song, all right? It's when Bruno Mars comes in, right? When he goes, this chord. "I ain't playing no games right? That's a key change because that chord would not normally be in the key. If we're in the key of C major or A minor, when he goes up here, he's playing this E flat major 7, I believe. Yeah, E flat major 7. That wouldn't be in the key. If we're in the key of C major, the C major scale goes like this. So the note E flat is not even in the scale. So like, how does that work? How and why does that sound so perfect? Like, it doesn't sound wrong. It sounds like it belongs in the song. Why is that? Here's where the relative major and relative minor comes in, all right? So we said we're basically in the key of C major at the start, right? "Should be dancing, romancing." So at that part, we're in C major, right? We can think of the key change when Bruno Mars comes in as we're just going to C minor, okay? Because C minor has a relative major of E flat major, right? If we're in the key of C minor, the relative major of that is E flat major. So really, instead of thinking about that key change as being from A minor to E flat major, what I like to think of it as we're going from C major to C minor. And that's really just what the first key change is. Anderson .Paak is singing in C major. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing. I know my rhythm is off there. I haven't practiced this enough. But Anderson .Paak is in C major, and then Bruno Mars just comes in C minor. Because C minor has a relative major of E flat major, which is where Bruno Mars starts. I ain't playing no games. Right? So really, now, why does this work so well? Why does it work so well to go between C major and C minor? In one word, it's because of the blues. I guess that's 2 words, okay? When we listen to blues songs, which really all of contemporary music in at least Western cultures is based on the blues. Like, think about it. Rock evolved from the blues, like jazz evolved from the blues. We're so used to hearing the blues in all music, and the blues is really used to going between major and minor, right? Like, how often do you hear this in the blues, right? Like, the blues is always combining major and minor within the same song. So we're so used to hearing that, and our brain codes that as bluesy. It's a very common sound. So in this song, when they go from C major to C minor, it just sounds bluesy. It works so well. In addition, when you change keys, it's going to sound less abrupt if the scale of your new key is not that different from the scale of your old key. And in this case, the only difference between C major and C minor is just 2 notes, okay? The root is the same between C major and C minor. The second is the same, right? So they both have the note D. The third is different, okay? So it's a minor third versus a major third. So that's 1 note. And then the only other note that's different is the 6th. So the scales are pretty similar. They're only 2 notes different. So that's part of why when switching between C major and C minor, it's pretty seamless because they're not that different. Now, here's the question. Why did they put that key change in there? I think a big reason for that key change is because that's where they change singers, okay? When they're going from Bruno Mars to Anderson .Paak, or in this case, actually, it's the opposite, from Anderson .Paak to Bruno Mars, they want that kind of transition, you know? And I think that by changing keys, it's like it's a way of introducing that this is a new section of the song. Whereas if they were both just kind of singing in the same key, like let's say that, you know, you had that intro chord progression, and then Bruno Mars just kind of kept going over that, right? It would almost kind of sound like, why are there 2 singers? Like, if you're staying with the same riff and you're just singing new words, it almost feels like you're forcing a new singer in there, and it really should be only a 1-singer song. But by changing from C major to C minor, it's a new section, and it makes that transition to Bruno Mars singing feel like it's not just snuck in there. It feels very deliberate. So I think that's why they changed keys. So the reason this works, the reason why we're going between the 2 keys so perfectly is because it's really just C major to C minor, and then we've heard that in the blues so often, okay? Now, there is one more key change in the song. So really, most of the song is just those 2 keys. The last key change happens at the end. So how does that happen? At the end, if you notice, it's kind of the same melodies as the intro. Like, I'ma leave the... It's similar. It's like, I'ma leave the... It's more that, right? But it's a half step higher, okay? So at the beginning, we were here in this, starting on this F major 7 chord. But near the end, when they're playing that riff, but with kind of the same words, it's F sharp major 7. So instead of like, I'm gonna leave the door open, it's a half step higher than what we were doing in the intro. So I want to explain how they got there, okay? So this all starts at this part. So right after one of the chorus, it's like, tell me that you're coming through. What's happening there? Really, again, it's just going from C major to C minor, because this chord, through, this chord does not belong in C major, but it is in C minor. So again, this is just C major to C minor, same deal as we talked about before. But then near the end of the song, there's this section where it's like la 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 la. And that's still in the same key. We're still in C minor, just like when we went to here. So still in C minor, all makes sense so far. La la la. But then what happens is they do what's called a step down modulation. So they were playing la la la, la 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 la. So these two chords. They just take that same part and they move it a full step down. So like la 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 la. So that's a step down modulation. And the brain is able to follow it because it's just, you're playing the same part twice. You're playing the part and you're doing a step down. So since it's the same part, it's very easy for the brain to follow it. It feels like a deliberate modulation because you're playing the same part, the la la la, and then you're just dropping it a step down. So if you're going to do like a step up or step down modulation where you're just taking the whole thing and just moving everything down, it's often good to play the same phrase twice, once in the old key and once in the new key, because it just helps the brain follow it. And that's it. So it just takes that. So we were in C minor, takes that down a full step. So then you're in B flat minor, and that's where the rest of the song is. Okay? So B flat minor, the relative major is C sharp major, and that's why it feels like the ending, or that's why the ending is a half step higher than the beginning of the song. The beginning of the song is C major, and then the end of the song is C sharp major. And that happened, I'll just give a little review, that happened because it was going between C major and C minor, and then when it was in C minor at the end, it just went a full step down. So C minor, a full step down, is B flat minor, and the relative major of that is C sharp major. So that's how the ending is in kind of C sharp major, right? Which is a half step higher than the C major that we began with. So I know it's kind of hard to absorb the first time through, but really it's just going between three keys, just C minor, C major, and then going a full step down. And that pretty much explains the whole song. Hopefully this helped a little bit to understand this song. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you next time. Hope you have a good day.